Hey, Mike. What? Who's got next?
What's good, y'all? It's your man, Hezo, and welcome back to the Blacktop, where I always got next, you feel me? So we are right at the midway point of the NBA Conference Finals, which means the NBA Finals is right around the corner, which means the NBA offseason is right around the corner. One of my favorite times right after the NBA season. I'm definitely excited to see what moves teams make. So before I dive into everything, as always, if y'all are new to my channel and y'all are big basketball fans, go on and hit that subscribe button, man. Go ahead, I'll give you a second. I'll wait. Got it? Okay, cool. Let's get right into it. So the team that we are going to be starting off with obviously is the Lakers, as y'all see. And this was a team that was probably the most disappointing team out of every NBA team this season. The Russell Westbrook trade just did not work out to the expectancy. And since LeBron has been there, this is kind of, these 4 years have been kind of weird, to say the least. You miss the playoffs the first year, you get Anthony Davis in a trade, you win a championship in the bubble, and then you get lose in the first round the next season after Anthony Davis gets hurt, and then you don't make the playoffs this year. So very weird 4 years. And the Lakers, I think, they're going to be the hardest team to really predict what they're going to do because of just their salary cap situation. They don't have a lot of movable assets, so it's gonna be tough for the Lakers. First thing I think they have to look to do, now it's gonna be easier said than done, is move Russell Westbrook. Again, that's easier said than done. His contract, he has a player option. He's more than likely gonna opt in because it's like $47 million. He's not gonna get that anywhere else. He's not gonna opt out of a contract like that. So now you have him, it'll be on his last year of his deal next season. It's gonna be hard to move that contract. But I have heard a lot about the Hornets. It's been a big rumor. Now, if you're the Hornets, I don't really understand that trade. Why you would want to move, why you would want Russell Westbrook when you have LaMelo Ball as your primary ball handler. Now, maybe to take pressure off of him, but if you're the Hornets, it doesn't make sense. You're not going anywhere with him on your team. You're not getting better. It's been a big rumor about them swapping Gordon Hayward for Russell Westbrook. I don't like that move if you're the Lakers because you're tying yourself into a long-term contract for a player that is overpaid and another injury-prone player next to Anthony Davis. It doesn't make sense for either team. I don't see that happening. If it does, I will be very shocked on both sides because it's just a move that doesn't make sense. Another rumor is Zach Levine. Another move that I just don't see happening. The Lakers do not have the assets to give up to get Zach Levine. It's going to have to be in a sign and trade. And if you're the Bulls, you ain't taking on Russell Westbrook. Why the hell would you want Westbrook when you have Lonzo Ball, even though he's a little bit injury prone? No, it's not going to happen. Now, Zach Levine is rumored to go somewhere else based off of what he said. We'll see what happens with that. That's a topic for the Bulls video. But I just don't see the Lakers being able to make a sign and trade with Levine. They just don't have the assets. I mean, if they can get off of the Westbrook contract for essentially nothing and take back maybe a second-round pick for a team like the Thunder, maybe they want him back for God knows whatever reason. But a team that has cap room that can take on that contract without really giving up anything, that's going to be the Lakers' best bet. And then maybe you can sign Levine to a pay cut. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, man, that's not going to be enough to win a championship. In my opinion, the Lakers' championship window was closed. I'm sorry, LeBron fans, but I don't think LeBron's winning another championship. I don't. It ain't going to be in LA, that's for damn sure, because the Lakers have so much work to do. They don't have a lot of room to do it. Look at all the guys that they signed this season off of one-year deals. Malik Monk had a really good season, so I highly doubt they bring him back because he's going to want more money. I mean, maybe the mid-level exception, but I just don't think that's going to be enough. I mean, Melo, yeah, you can re-sign Melo, but, I mean, he wants to win. Melo wants to win, so it would make more sense if he ends up with a team like the Warriors, like the Heat, like the Celtics. But I just don't see that happening either because they're defensive juggernaut teams. We know what Melo is a liability defensively, but we know what he brings to the table offensively. We know Melo wants to win. Sure, he is best friends with LeBron, but I don't know. That's going to be tough. Lakers got their hands full, man, and Jeanie Buss has a challenge climb uphill because it is going to be a challenge. There is a disgruntled player over in Portland by the name of Damian Lillard. If I'm the Lakers, I'm at least picking up the phone to see if they can maybe trade Anthony Davis for Damian Lillard. Now, Lakers fans, I know y'all, I don't even know what y'all would think about that. In my opinion, I think that's a good move because I really like the pairing of Dame with LeBron. A dude who has that killer instinct, who hits big shots when it matters. Now, he was injured this season, but The Portland just shut him down after they were just a disaster. They could not win ball games. They shut him down. He probably could have came back, but it was just smarter to let him recover, let him get help in the offseason. Dame still has a lot left in the tank, man. People are calling Dame washed. He's still a top 5 point guard when healthy. Dame's still that dude. And if you pair him with LeBron, I think that takes a lot of pressure off LeBron because LeBron's been getting hurt. It's just going to be tough. It's going to be tough to pull off a trade like that. I don't think Dame wants to move on from I don't think Portland wants to move on from Dame unless he specifically says that he wants out. If he doesn't, I don't know why he would not want out of Portland. But if you're the Lakers, I think they need to pick up the phone and make some calls about Anthony Davis. He's too injury prone, man. You can't rely on a player that plays 40 games a year to be your second best player. It's not something that they need to keep him. So if I'm the Lakers, you need to at least pick up the phone. Now, with that being said, how much is Anthony Davis actually worth? I don't know. You know, if you're grading a player based off of like a 5-star basis, I look at Anthony Davis at this point. He's about 28 years old now. About 3.5-star value. Kind of like on 2K, right? About a 3.5-star value, maybe a 4-star trade value. But they're not going to get a star in return for Anthony Davis. I was just talking about the Dame trade, but realistically, it's probably not going to happen. They're not going to get a star back for AD. It's just not realistic. They gave up a huge package for him to get him, and they gave up a huge package to get Russell Westbrook. They traded away all their assets for 2 players. I just don't see where the Lakers go from here. It's going to be tough. They're going to have to pretty much fill out the roster with mid-level players again, and that's just not going to be enough to win in the Western Conference. The Western Conference is going to be so good next year. The Nuggets are going to get back healthy. The Warriors ain't going nowhere. The Grizzlies damn sure ain't going nowhere. The Suns are still going to be a good team. They got a lot to figure out. That's another topic for another day. But then you have teams, you know, like Minnesota who are on the come up. The Pelicans are on the come up if they can get a healthy Zion. That's a big if. I just don't see the Lakers being a contender next year. It's tough to say, but we'll see what happens. So that's pretty much all I got, man. I don't really know what else I can talk about with this Lakers team. This is the most difficult team to predict what's going to happen in the offseason just because of their salary cap situation and the minimum roster players that they have that they can move. Taylor Horton-Tucker, yeah, they can move him, but what's his value? They really missed out on giving him up at the deadline last year for Kyle Lowry. They dropped the ball on that. They dropped the ball on not getting DeMar DeRozan this year. It's been just constant letdown last year and this year of making moves. Taylor Horton-Tucker's a bum to me, man. I just don't. I'm sorry. I'm gonna call it for what it is. I don't see this dude as a really good young player. There was an article that came out that Bleacher Report came out with that he was in the top 25 of players under 25. That's nonsense because he is a maybe 1.5 star, 2-star player. Not even. I wouldn't even say a 2-star player, man. I think he has potential, but I think he needs a fresh start. Kind of like Kuzma. Kuzma was just not a good fit for the Lakers. He did help them win the championship in the bubble, but he just needed a fresh start as well. Kind of the same with Taylor Horton-Tucker. And I hope he proves me wrong. The kid can play in moments. He showed that he's had big games, but he's just not consistent. I think I went a little bit too far calling it a bum. I'm not going to go that far because he's got a lot of room to grow. So we'll see what happens with Taylor Horton-Tucker. I do think they need to try and maybe look to package him. I don't really know what that package holds, but Austin Reeves is another nice young player that kind of was, I think he was undrafted, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but, you know, maybe they look to package him. I don't know. I know they like Austin Reeves, but, again, these are 2 players that they're not going to have a ton of value. Keep your eye on Indiana. I think that they were in the trade rumors for Miles Turner last year. We'll see if they can make a move for Miles Turner. I don't know if that makes any sense at this point. They do need a center because Anthony Davis probably is better at the 4, but I just don't, again, I don't know if they have the assets. Maybe trade Russell Westbrook for him and Buddy Hield if you're Indiana. I don't know how much that makes sense, but it is an expiring contract at the end of next year, so maybe it does make sense. You get off that huge deal. You get off the Buddy Hield contract as well. I mean, maybe they bring in somebody to play next to Tyrese Halliburton. Again, that's going to be another topic for the Indiana Pacers video. So I'm going to pretty much leave it there, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know what team y'all want to see me cover next for the offseason. Leave a like, and I will catch y'all next episode.